为大家做这一局比赛的解说。那不问可知，身边的小仓，你支持的战队，我需要问你吗？应该不需要。小仓的倾向是大家很知道的。
哎呀，不要开玩笑了，其实。这两个战队的话，客观来说还是 OMG 的胜率会大一些，但是老干爹他们肯定是准备了战术的，而且他们自己也表示，相对于皇族来说，可能更加愿意打 OMG。
对的，因为刚好上一个那个现场活动签名的环节，我刚好跟老干爹在一起，然后我就问了他们，因为那时候皇。
All right, guys, welcome back. We've been on a little bit of a break, but we will be getting pretty soon into our second set of the night. LGD taking on OMG for who will get that final coveted spot for Worlds.
And of course, we haven't seen a lot of LGD because they haven't found a lot of success throughout the playoffs and the season in general. Kind of a mid-tier team, just barely squeaked it by to qualify for playoffs, which allowed them to qualify for the regionals tournament here. And other than their victories yesterday against IEG, have kind of been floundering.
Yeah, they have really not come up much, and they barely made the playoffs. It was just off the back of what a lot of people would call a technicality, going back, dusting off the rulebook to find out that they were just barely ahead of World Elite.
Definitely right there. But going into this game, let's just talk, we talked about how StarHorn Royal Club and OMG kind of fit together and where their strengths lie. LGD now. Possibly the strongest point of LGD is going to be their star mid laner Wayless, as well as their captain and support PYL. In fact, Wayless actually chose to be on LGD due to the ability and the respect that he has for PYL's ability to captain the team. They find success when they're able to utilize PYL early in the team, particularly with roams. The roam meta was very giving to LGD. They've kind of teetered off a little bit as the meta shifted more toward traditional lanes, but this is where Wayless actually particularly shines.
Yeah, and I think that he's going to have to step up pretty big if his team wants any kind of chance against OMG. These guys are legendary in their performance. Maybe not as recently, StarHorn clearly looking like the better team and all that, but that's not to take away from what they were able to accomplish. Game number one, incredibly close back and forth affair, and if that's the OMG that shows up to this match, LGD is going to be in a bit of trouble.
Definitely. They don't have the best record against OMG, and it's really about, I feel like it's about Wayless taking off. The issue, though, is that he's across from Cool. So in that 1v1 matchup, yeah, Cool hasn't been, super hot tonight, but that's still a mid laner that you have to respect. And these both these mid laners actually have pretty unique and diverse champion pools.
Yeah, although there is, of course, a very big differential in the way that they call their moves. OMG's coming from the jungle, coming from the top lane, whereas that is quite the opposite case in LGD's case, that PYL has been the rock of this team for a long, long, long time, and they'll be looking to him to make the rotations. These are probably the two smartest teams historically in the LPL, really.
Oh, wow. Look at San.
He is not having a good day.
OMG, yeah, coming off a loss like that, being so close to Worlds and just have it just pulled out of your reach, whereas LGD, they are known to be also a very tilty team, actually coming off of a win, so we'll see if they're able to carry that momentum through bans.
Maybe they can do it here. Banning right off the bat, of course, Yasuo Aurelia taken away, and the Maokai choice has been kind of consistent staple of OMG's bans just in general.
The thing about Maokai, yes, he's strong globally, but why he's strong for Chinese teams is that they love to fight and they love champions that enable them to pick those fights. And of course, if you talk about Twisted Advance, Maokai's W there, it's the perfect champion. Tower dive for days, fight for days, anytime you want, has to be taken away.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a must-do kind of situation here. Now, Twisted Fate banned out as well. Curious choice against Cool. Also the Orianna and the Cows open, so that's immediately picked up. 17 locking that in, probably for PYL.
Yeah, likely it's going to be seen as a support position instead of in that top lane, although 17 could pull it off. It is a flex pick, and speaking of flex pick, wow, speaking of flex
Speaking
picks,
of spaghetti pants?
Spaghetti, Rise, locked in for going, or Cool.
Yeah, it is definitely a flexible choice. I think they don't want to reveal too much of the strat. A lot of bans expended against Cool, and that leaves a lot of other key positions open. San favoring that Lucian right now.
The Twisted Fate is a little bit curious. I'm wondering if that's going to play into what LGD is going to show as far as strategy as more of these picks come out. Cool was known for his Twisted Fate. It was almost Messiah level, came out very hot and heavy with that, but it hasn't really been big for him. He hasn't returned to it too much, and to see that taken away, kind of curious where they're going to go from here.
Yeah, from that point on, I think since they gave up the Lucian choice, XQ might be favoring this instead. Now he has kind of stepped up a lot for LGD as they've needed him to, with the few roster changes that they did make in their offseason as well. So now, Chuen has had mixed success in this particular event on not Lee Sin, but historically it was not the case. So they're going to give him another chance. He locks in the Spider.
Well, Elise is definitely one of his comfort champions. Chuen probably the weakest point of LGD due to his champion pool size. It was really Lee Sin, Lee Sin, and Lee Sin, although that has expanded to Elise, to a little bit of Jarvan. So it's not Lee Sin, but it is a good take for him.
Yeah, from this particular position, I think it shouldn't be super duper difficult for them to maybe take a bit of an early lead. It's a nice setup for catching people out, and there's a lot of displacement available. However, Son going for more hyper carry oriented champion right now in that Kog'Maw. And woo, last second switch up. Okay, over to Vayne. Same kind of scenario, but they also get the Nocturne lock in for Drug, and this is already shaping up to be a pretty scary team comp.
This is very similar to the composition that they ran in their first set against StarHorn World Cup, the much closer game. Again, you have Go going as that frontline tank with Ryze, his ability to stick and stay next to Vayne and create a zone of safety for her. Dada7 taking up his Thresh again to reposition her. And Son had a great performance on Vayne. Yeah, that game didn't turn out, but it was arguably the closer set. Instead, trading Kha'Zix for Nocturne this time around.
Yep, and I think that this Ahri choice might be a really good one for Wei last year, so we'll have to see how it goes, but there is, of course, that mid lane last pickup for Cool, and scary to deal with. He's thinking about the talent, he does it! Whoa, okay. Alright.
Immediately picks up the talent. Okay, speaking of scary, like you said, Wayless's Ahri, especially yesterday in the set against Invictus Gaming, I think he was 14-1 and just a dominating performance, really showing Zatai how that champion works. It's a signature champion for Wayless, as is for Cool. Picking up the talent, seeing that in competitive, ooh, this is going to be good.
Yeah, I think so too. This is pulling out all the stops right now. We'll have to see how this one goes. That is going to be terrifying. Alright guys, take ourselves a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be on the Rift, and this one's going to be explosive. Don't go anywhere.
打死狐狸，狐狸还有反身追击的可能性。只要附近打野在的话，这个男刀出手的时候要做好周边的视野倒是。
在关键的时刻，无状态决定扛起队伍进攻的大旗，选到了泰隆。这盘可以说押宝就押宝到这个英雄上了。
泰隆这个犀利的眼神。
在韩国那边比赛的冒泡赛里面看到好多把的太郎，但是在
非半季选。对，
但在中国赛从那个中国这边的比赛，从季后赛一直打到这2天的比赛，都是第一次看到太郎呀。对。那么老干爹对上 OMG， 决定最后一席世界赛名额的 BO3 终于要来展开了，所有人跟我们一起拭目以待。
Alright guys, we are loaded up onto Summoner's Rift, and we are getting ready to start the first game of the secondary set. LGD, big chip on their shoulders if they want to make it to Worlds against all odds. They will have to take down OMG 2 out of 3 times.
And like we said, OMG playing technically from the back foot, coming off of a very disappointing loss to StarHorn Royal Club, aren't out of the woods yet. LGD technically coming off of a win, scraping by in a 2-1 split with Invictus Gaming to be here. Can they follow that momentum through? Will we see the underdog go to Worlds, or will OMG take their rightful place?
Well, and a lot of people have expected. That's why you use that wording now. OMG is going to have to earn this, but they have been very strong in these last couple series despite falling down 0-2 to StarHorn Royal Club. I think you really got to just give StarHorn credit in how good they looked by comparison, that they made OMG look, somewhat average.
Do see a couple of damage going across. Line of scrimmage, no one wanting to give anything away. 17 being forced to back. Should be fine, though. Didn't pop any pots. Is going to back soon enough that he's just going to walk back with this creep wave.
Yeah, I think that's going to be not too much trouble for them to deal. So LGD getting off on the right foot, being able to start this one out.
PYL actually starting a sweeper. Tells me that he's going to want to camp that brush, use it to help zone. So trying to add that as almost a superficial buff against Thresh's range. The fact that he's melee versus a ranged champion, wants to control the brush from Trinket so he can stand in it with a threatening QW combination.
Mm-hmm. They managed to get that one off. So LGD is actually trying to set up a late invade here. They do move their way into the jungle of OMG, and they are none the wiser, but the red buff is, of course, being started. So they won't have to worry too much about that. I think OMG is a smart enough team to just realize, hey, we can just go immediately to the top side, and we'll see that 2v2 kind of lane swap Rooney if it comes in. Nope, it's a teleport in now for 17, so normal lanes, but still a lot of roams.
See what they do with this jungle matchup right here. Lovely actually taking his time, clearing out his Wraith camp. Hasn't gone immediately for the blue trade.
Yeah, I think you gotta wonder where Loveling is gonna go. Drug would make his move. It's kind of a later game, later laning phase champion. Oh, PYL getting a little frisky there. He gets hooked up for just a second, or rather flayed back. Takes a lot more poke than he's able to dish out onto San. They have to be so careful. I mean, this is not the strongest set of bot lanes in the LPL anyways, but PYL, the brain of this team, making kind of a mistake there, yeah.
Well, again, it's a ranged champion versus a melee champion. Alistar doesn't have an enormous power spike at level 1. It's really that level 2 that it becomes, you know, that really scary champion. And so, oh, hold on, getting locked up.
Yep, here we go. Oh, heal spent already. XQ in a bit of trouble. Dada is really making some plays with these flays, but it may not be enough. Summoner heal also spent by San, and the bruising is happening. Put some band-aids on that. It looks like it hurt.
That could have turned out very poor for OMG. The positioning was really well done by PYL. Again, with Alistar, you immediately headbutt away the AD carry for the trade, then turn onto the support, try to separate him. Fortunate for OMG, their minion wave was coming in, and they weren't able to do much damage on Dada 7, but for PYL making the mistake in the early level 1, definitely came back with that level 2 trade.
Yeah, they were able to make that really happen, and oh, looks like we do have a bit of lag, but we're back, and all of a sudden there's a hook. Dada 7 finding PYL, who goes immediately for the jugular onto San. Exhaust already burned. Chuen is here, and he goes for the flash forward, gets it. First blood, 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes in, excuse me. And Chuen behind enemy lines, flayed back. Dada wants those double buffs, and he will get them.
Not the best case scenario. Gets the first blood, but he loses the double buff, not where a jungler wants to be. That said, the other issue is the fact that the first blood left the lane. Again, that gold wasn't there. It didn't go onto the AD carry. Didn't even go on the captain. It's now in the jungle itself.
Yeah, at this point, Dada 7 with the double buffs. I'm not really sure what to make of it, because he has been making plays to answer back, but giving up that kill, there was a real concentrated effort to pick off San and try and shut him down. They're really tunneling on him. I think that that's going to be a bit troubling for OMG, but also LGD is kind of putting all their eggs in one basket. And there's a lot of threats on this team, not just the AD carry.
The 1-2 punch anytime it comes in with the tower dive, so yeah, XQ didn't get the kill.
That's alright. Oh, charm back, cool! Wow, taking a lot of poke! And Drug was completely ineffective on that. There we go. Oh, he's going to go forward. Cool. He's ignited. He's going to. One more tick will do it. He goes down to way less. Second kill for LGD. The mid laner picking that one up and starting to question the talent pick. It comes into its own a little bit later in the game, but it may not make it that long. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, 17 has going pushed in. This Gragas choice has been causing him a bit of trouble, but might turn around a bit later on in the game. Level 5s all around the map right now. 4s in the bot side. XQ trying to change that with PYL. And I think they'll be okay. Staying safe for the time being. Slight gold lead in their favor with the extra kill in their pocket.
To be expected, Ryze isn't going to win that early. Again, he's all about the late game, item-dependent champion. Doesn't mind sitting back by his tower, being safe, waiting for that tier so he can start putting those stacks on.
Yeah, smart move, generally speaking. And he's going to have a little bit of trouble because there's a spider hanging out in his tri-brush. He's backing. He's being extremely safe. So, oh, Dada getting the hook in onto XQ now, but immediately PYL answers back, getting the zone on. And this is just such a nice action-reaction play from LGD's support. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, ult spended, burned Go-Going's flash, and now Chuen nearly within tower range. Whoa, he nearly picks off Chuen there, and that is dangerous. XQ meanwhile in the bot, Dada 7. Oh, the double busk expiring. They're going in for it. One more hit from Dead, and it's going to go over to the support OMG, who's the real carry. Leveling was in the picture too, but he really has just been providing support fire.
Playing a great game, utilizing the Lantern really well. The fact that now these engagements are on an extended and elongated lane, that those Lantern catch-ups are meaning so much more, and really abusing with the double buffs as well. Can't underestimate that.
Yeah, it's kind of been a story of backfired aggression, I think, from LGD. They're trying to really make early game plays, and they're having a little bit of trouble in the spot side. More success in the mid. Of course, Wayless is actually, despite the jungle pressure he's been receiving, out-farmed and pushed Cool out.
To be expected, again, range champion. The big power spike for Talon will be how he uses that ultimate. If he's going to find a roam anywhere. Again, it's about controlling Cool, keeping him in that lane, and making sure that he can't impact or get involved with Go-Going, or in particular Drug. See if Wayless is able to keep him busy.
Dada immediately, he stops his back to get that hook, doesn't quite connect on it. Now they're going to poke down PYL. San receiving a lot of damage in return. Silver Bolt's coming up big with the true damage. XQ, they're throwing the Lantern out just for a little bit of zone control. They didn't have leveling there, but the fake outs. Mind games from Dada. 2-0 on this game on Thresh right now. Not too shabby.
OMG owns this bottom lane right now. They're ahead, and we keep saying it, OMG's weakest point has been their bot lane historically, so to find them here is fantastic. See if they can keep up the snowball and transition this into bigger objectives, possibly the Dragon.
Yep, looks like we're having a little bit more stream lag, so guys, kick it off just one moment. Thank you for being very patient while all this is going down. Okay, we're back. While all that craziness was unfolding, there was a dragon picked up. So LGD and OMG managing to keep each other pretty even right now. I think that OMG still has the better scaling in this game, but I'm worried about Cool's mid lane performance right now. He's really not been able to compete with way less Ahri.
I mean, that said, he has one objective. It's not necessarily... Ideally, yeah, if you can kill the Ahri, you want to kill the Ahri, but his targets, it's not just the Ahri, it's also that Lucian he's looking for, and as long as he's able to burst that late game, he's pretty much done his job. The big factors in the win conditions for OMG's composition are on Go-Going's rise and San's performance on this Vayne.
Yeah, well, okay. 17 has been keeping Go-Going really pushed in right now. And I think this is a mistake if they want to try to focus ganks on him, because Chuen has been waiting in that brush, but they don't know that Drug is also in wait. And he's got 6 now. He's got the Paranoia available if he wants to use it. Pinging him out, actually, so they do see him. A lot of deep wards being invested on this top side, but it's a very cautious game from both teams.
Trying to play the bait, see how this will go. Rise, of course, has his tier completed. Not the best battle stats from that item, but... this 2v2 could be very scary with a Nocturne.
Now, I think they're really just waiting for a moment to go in on this. The two junglers are kind of like, I don't know if I want to take that, man. Here comes leveling, moving around the side. Ooh, Rune Prison up. 17 takes a lot of poke. Still the junglers won't move. Cool. Oh, he has to ult. Oh, wow. Hits just keep on coming for the mid laner.
I think he was afraid of a charm. Preemptive. He wasn't low enough right there, but his minion wave cleared out.
There's the Paranoia up in the top. Chuen, he's locked up right now. It's going to be a trade. Or is it? Chuen is going to be able to walk away. Okay, so they do manage to take out Drug. but Go Going is still doing the damage he needs to do. Chuen gets the cocoon off. Oh my goodness, can they get both of them? Go Going nearly picks himself up too before finally falling down to Chuen. And how about that? He has stepped up huge time. Now, whoa, that's a lot of stun in the bot side. The action just keeps on going. Data 7 and San getting forced back under tower by XQPYL.
Brilliant cocoon up top from Chuen to kind of stall out the Nocturne damage, make him extend and get picked up by the Gragas burst initially off the bat. Again, though, that's Go Going's rise, able to trade 1 for 2. Still not the best trade for OMG, but they get something for their trouble.
Yeah, all said and done, it really has been troubling to see Drug not quite performing and on some of the more unorthodox picks that he has chosen. It seems to be the trouble that OMG is having of late. What's strange is that it comes at the same time as OMG's bot lane really stepping up big time.
It's unfortunate they're not able to kind of find each other all on the same page. See if they're able to pick that up on either the later game of this set or at least the later part of the series.
Maybe they can pull that one off. So now, it's still anyone's guess how this one will shake out. The next Dragon should be pretty important to both of these teams, but the laning phase has been really stalled out here, and you gotta wonder how much effect the junglers will be able to have in the team fighting phase, because they really haven't affected the lanes much.
We do see actually a very different shift of power into the bot lane as you saw PYL zoning that out. The fact that XQ has a sizable CS lead pretty much makes up for Data 7's strength on those 2 kills mobility boots Thresh.
Yeah, that's where you definitely want all your gold, right? So, with that said, San is definitely going to get rolling. It just is going to take him a lot longer than it will XQ at this point. Wayless, however, has been a monster in this mid lane for only having the 1 kill, and he's been able to push Cool back quite a lot. However, the latter is keeping up in farm. For a while, he was held at bay, but a little bit of help from the jungler, and he's been able to step it up.
It's very important, though, that Wayless has his Zhonya's Hourglass completed, especially against A, another assassin, but B, the tower dive potential between the Zhonya's Ahri as well as the Elise and her ability to juggle aggro with the repel.
I think it's going to come up pretty big for them. They're going to rely very heavily, though, on Wayless's performance. It has been kind of what they've needed for their fights. But Chuen has really been a much better player in the last couple of days that we have ever seen him before. So hopefully he can continue to make these plays. 2-1 on Elise is not too shabby at all. And he's going so far for the damage build. Looks like down in the bot lane, Dada and San trying to find a pick. This tower is nearly gone, though.
Very slower pace game than we've seen from the rest of our sets and our series so far in the night.
No StarHorn in this game. That's for one. Okay, cool. He's caught between a cow and a fox, but he will sneak his way out with an ult. Ling and Chuen going to find each other in the jungle. Teleport coming in from 17 and chasing the ghost away. So far, LGD really playing the better opening game.
I mean, I don't know necessarily if it's the better. They found more windows of opportunity, but this is still a very small margin of lead.
It's true. It could turn on its head really anytime soon. And OMG are no strangers to being able to play even or behind a little bit. It's when teams get a complete runaway lead on them and they tilt. That's the trouble, and LGD is unable to produce that huge level right now. Dragon will be up in about 15 seconds, contestable by both teams, but there's no teleport on 17, and he's not leaving that top lane.
I will redefine my statement, though. The power and the placement of the gold on LGD is very different and much more influential than the gold on OMG. The fact that Dada 7 has a large sum of their lead on that
they're
Thresh.
Starting off early. Chuen, immediate repel up, but he is too low to live. It's going to be cool getting a kill. Dada was charmed up. Wayless trying to make something happen with the Spirit Rush combo, but it won't be enough. 4 members of OMG. 5 now as Go Going makes a move towards this mid for the tower dive. Oh, wow, they flash on forward for it. Wayless, he gets the Zhonya's Hourglass, but he will go down. They get right in position, and he flashes immediately, but will finally fall. A lot of damage being dealt. XQ, can he find the answer on to Go Going, flashing forward. One more hit from Dead, and he does it. XQ coming up with the execute. San and Cool limp away from that. A huge commitment by OMG, but they do net themselves 2 kills for the price of 1.
Also a mechanical misstep from Dada.
Oh, or maybe more. Wow. Explosive cast knocking San back to Fountain. LGD all of a sudden have an impetus to push up the mid tower. Wow, Frost. LGD has really been able to capitalize on this, but 17, he's in trouble too. It's a fight under the tower. Can they take it? Loveling is low. Wow, he is almost going to go down, but not quite. Getting out just in time. Cool trying for the 1v3 outplay. He does manage to get one, can't get two. Calling spent by XQ. Finally, Data7 will pick up PYL, but the fight's not done yet. Going, coming on in, getting the room prison, finding Chuen. Suddenly, a switch has flipped, and these teams are going for each other's throats.
OMG just turning on the gas right here. An elongated team fight. What, that was a 45-second team fight. Started one way, was thrown the other. 0 objectives taken off that. Decent damage went down for LGD on OMG's mid-tier tower. The Dragon is still up and live. Both teams should be scrambling to get back in position and make sure that this buff doesn't get taken for no reason.
Yeah, 1,000 gold is all that separates these two teams. And as we say it, a little bit more goes into their pockets. LGD managing to knock down the last of the outer turrets. Way less doing that solo. The ward control is kind of split right now. There aren't actually a lot of wards on the map. I think this crazy fighting has sort of left it in a state of chaos. But both teams should be able to start contesting
I haven't had time to ward.
Yeah, you can't be popping those down when everybody's flashing. I'm pretty sure everybody's flash except Chuen and 17's is down currently.
San still has this flash.
Oh, okay, no, you're right. San does too.
See if he's able to use it.
7 out of 10.
Looking for this. I almost said Baron, and then I was like, it's not 20 minutes yet. It's only 17. It's a dragon.
I mean, they could Baron at 17 minutes. That would be the real twist, wouldn't it? We've seen earlier. We've seen it as soon as it spawns. Jeez. Not so much lately, but LGD, they waited a little bit long, and now Cool trying for the outplay. Oh, he takes a lot of poke there, but Chuen does as well. Ultimate coming in, but Cool goes down. Chuen traded for him, and PYL running his way out of here as Loveling is chasing him down. Wayless coming in for the flank. Can they get it? Going is low. Is it low enough? He's got the double buffs. Wayless got him in his sights. He might be able to do it. PYL is already down, and they do answer back, but it's XQ getting the doubles. And Loveling, he does not have a flash available, just goes to the Wraith camp to die. And that is going to be OMG coming up with a deficit for them. It was a 3-for-2 trade. LGD in the lead, so they should be able to get this dragon pretty easily now.
OMG not being very conscious of their spacing in these team fights, getting split up, separated. Yeah, I mean, it's Nocturne, and we talk about kind of the paranoia is a big issue of being pulled away, but the paranoia didn't go off. This is an issue of him ulting back too far. This is an issue of going, running forward and not communicating, hey, my team's behind him, of Drug following him through. Just miscommunication across the board, and LGD covering their flanks, staying together, and finding their cooldowns on the correct targets.
Yeah, and LGD just kind of having a little bit of the better focus there. I think overcommitments from OMG have kind of been the calling card of this game, but they're still able to get a lot for it. Now, they're only down a little bit of gold, but they got to start answering back in towers. They've got no map control right now.
A big issue, though, again, is the lack of warding. We do have a couple of smattering wards, but they're not over important objectives. The fact that neither of these teams have really invested in securing and denying vision in an area and completely controlling that. It's been just running into each other relentlessly and fighting. Yeah, and they've been able to find each other. And speaking of find each other, here they go again. Going in 17, set to trade it out, but the barrel is going to force going to back away. PYL wandering through the jungle, getting himself a couple of wards out now. And Drug needs to get his Feral Flare stacks up, but he's not going to be able to do it when that jungle is completely controlled by the LGD side. Only 19.5 minutes into this game, and it's already looking like much later. Drug still falling back on these junglers that, aren't necessarily his calling card. Did play Lee Sin earlier in the evening, but hasn't gone back to the Jarvan. Is going for more of these Kha'Zix Nocturne.
Ooh, there's a hook, Dada. Wow, it's a good thing he backed off of that one. Might have eaten a charm. He has been getting a lot smarter about his positioning in these last couple games. And, there's a Culling coming out to try and get the tower damage down. But there are too many members of OMG in the picture right now, and LGD will not decide to fight that one out. They will back off.
See what use they'll make of their vision control in this top side of the jungle, though. Because Dragon is down, obviously moving the control to that top side, seeing if they can find a pick, find a tower here. We're looking at the top
find a kill.
Second-tier tower.
Cool. Oh, man, that charm expired as he gets the ult off finally. They're still in the chase. Spirit Rush, 1 more, 2, 3. They get him. It's XQ coming up with a kill. 4 and 2 on that Lucian now. And wow, the coordination from LGD. They really know how to step it up when they need to. Looking to push down the second-tier mid. Looking like the better team over OMG, and that is something we didn't expect to say.
just picking them off. OMG just
oh,
being
here they go
sloppy, not
again.
being coordinated.
Yep, they're actually going to get the ult out of Leveling right now. And way less. He's low. Zanya's Hourglass, but there's way too much damage being dealt. LGD coming up with a win of the fight. XQ stays alive. Nobody dies on LGD just yet. Chuen is burning low, burning down. Finally, PYL falls. San, can he go for the outplay? He is too slow right now, and they get a charm off. Can they blow him up? It looks like they will try. 17. No, he's not got the damage, but that was scary, and what a play, or a set of plays by LGD to come up with the narrow escape from death and 3 kills besides.
And 17 wasn't involved in that fight until the very end. A lot of that was, again, the successful tower juggle between the Zanya's Hourglass, the Alistar ultimate, the Elise Repel that allowed XQ to stay in that tower range for so long and to get the damage down that he needed.
Yep, and from here on out, I think OMG have to evaluate even where they take the fights. They were under tower. They underestimated the ability of LGD to peel like that. PYL only went down in the second wind of the engagement. That was so bad. Oh, XQ. Hello. Almost get executed by White Camp. That's not good. That would have been...
Is that... He's learning from his jungle.
Oh. That did
Too
happen.
soon? It did happen.
But, I mean, this is a very different Chuen already, who has made an incredible amount of plays. We normally don't see this kind of effectiveness. We normally don't see this kind of champion being picked by him. And now Going finds himself forced to use Flash as Chuen comes right out of that jungle, straight towards him. LGD, team in the lead, team setting up picks, much smarter. Although Chuen, oh no, hello! He takes a lot of damage, not as much as he turns back onto Going though. And yeah, they just look like the smarter team.
They're just being more proactive is the issue here. OMG, they're just always a second behind, a corner behind, not getting their vision down quickly enough, not finding the right pick, so it's just very reactionary play from them, and unfortunately, LG is just collapsing better, just playing these team fights better, which they're already ahead, so these fights should start to snowball more and more out of control.
Yeah, decent-sized gold lead for them, 5,000 ahead at only 22 minutes in, and they've been able to find the picks, put the gold onto who they need way less. And XQ are rocking 4 kills apiece, only 3 deaths between them. This is a pretty good game from LGD, and if they had played like this against Invictus, it would have been a 2-0.
You can never count out Invictus Gaming.
Well, they're always going to split you, right? That's true. You can't count them out of Worlds for this year in LGD. Their team responsible for making that happen. Knocked down another mid-tower to increase their gold lead just a little bit more. Pinging out for Baron right now just to set up the baits. Dragon is a minute away. I think they will take the more conservative stance.
Expected. Need to get wards though. It could be time for a Desperation Baron, so we want to make sure that OMG doesn't pull the wool over their eyes. Need to be controlled. Just close this out. Can't allow this rise in Vayne to continue on getting stronger.
It's true. That's going to be a problem the longer the game goes. Same thing is true of Loveland, but he hasn't been able to spend much time farming jungle, so he hasn't gotten the Feral Flare up yet. This is a huge issue for OMG, and I think they have to reevaluate their picks once again. We said this against their StarHorn set, and it's very curious that they keep going for it.
Pull aside the fact that the Feral Flare isn't stacking, the fact that the Paranoia has only been used, I think, twice this game.
He's in trouble. Can he get out? Race are doing the damage. Ultimate comes out from 17, but the heal means he will live just barely. And LGD, when the trap snaps shut, Cool can just barely get out in time, and this might be the start of the Baron. They have 2 people backing. This is an inopportune moment. I don't think they're going to risk it. There's a pink ward they'll be able to clear out immediately. They know Loveling is there. Whoa, he's low. They might just start this, but they're being so patient right now. Vision coming out. Dota7 checking it. I think they're just going to go for the Baron start. They know there's only 2 members of OMG here. This is going to be dangerous, but they have the damage. Loveling is low. Oh, way less. He comes over the wall. Zanya's Hourglass into a box. He's low. He's in trouble. This might be OMG's turnaround. Dota is going to pick up the kill. Baron still being aggroed. Chuen being chased out on a hook. He's gone. They have to back off of this one. LGD making the crucial mistake and not respecting the power of OMG's team fight, and now the Baron is theirs for the taking. PYL hooked up. Come right back on in. We will take you any day of the week. Baron not regenning. It's about to go down. Can they get it? Yes, they can. Smited away by Loveling. LGD's PYL is on the wrong spot. He goes down. It's cool, and they get themselves 3 kills and a Baron. OMG back in the game.
A crucial mistake and misstep from Wayless right there. I don't know if that was a fat finger on the Zanya's Hourglass, but he was expecting a lot more damage to come through and did not tank anything, then immediately blew up. Pretty much ran into the enemy team and froze still and said, "Here I am, boys, here's the target." OMG with the crucial turnaround with this Baron play.
I thought we had another spectator glitch because that was a huge misstep. You're right, all their damage disappeared in a second. 17 now caught by Dada, and he's going in. They want to take this fight. Oh, wow, they're going to find Dada 7. That wasn't even his fault on that one. Everyone ran away, and now it is a 4v3. Cool. He's low. They take themselves a tower on the top side, going. That was why they were not able to take the full length of that fight, so this will be an LGD Dragon. But it's a consolation prize for a team that just conceded a Baron. They did not have to.
We'll get the Dragon, like you said. So a bit of a bonus there. Gold lead still in their favor, so OMG gives
cool.
them...
He's charmed, he's caught, he's going down. They got nothing left in the tank. Oh, wow. Maybe they do. He's got a flash. Nice fancy footwork. San finally goes down to XQ. And this game is going haywire.
All the Baron guaranteed them was a little bit more time, maybe 5-10 minutes for sure. So is that enough? Is that going to get them far enough into this late game that Vayne and Ryze can start to become a problem? I
mean, the start of a wonky base trade happening right now. Going is taking a lot of tower aggro. This first inhibitor tower is actually going to go over to LGD, though. And they have way less in XQ here. All the damage. Dada is afraid to get anywhere near it. There's a teleport coming in from 17. XQ is caught on a hook. He goes in, charmed in the middle of it. Way less with the plays, and XQ getting himself a kill. Cool. Dueling it out with Chuen. I don't think he has the damage, or does he? He does manage to take him down. A PYL is in some trouble. This game, every time something happens, a play answers it right on back. Nexus Tower is starting to fall, though. LGD is starting to push ahead. San going, gone! He gets blown up. So does Cool. This is going to be game number 1. They're rushing back to the base. LGD is going to take a game away from OMG, and they are one game from the unlikely story of going to the World Championships. Here we go, Froskerin. Wow!
I cannot believe the irresponsibility of going and Drug right there to not respond to their team. I mean, that was, like you said, reaction, cause, and effect from LGD. OMG does one thing, LGD does another, which that's the MO of LGD. That's how they play the game. But that was a complete misstep from OMG. They just gave their base away.
Mm-hmm. That was... I have no idea why they decided to wait that long to back. They were dueling it out, trying to push forward. What absolute insanity.
And it's lack of communication.
They tilted. Again, this is what happened to them. They've gone on tilt from their last set with StarHorn. It's the only way I can think of to explain it.
It goes back to when OMG is together and working and being that OMG that we know, it's because the communication is working. If one thing falls apart, the entire team, it's all about that synergy and the cohesiveness. If they don't have it, they don't have a team. It affects them harder than pretty much any other team that I've ever watched.
Yeah, and you talked about they are a very emotional team. They are a team that gets affected by these things, and, well, they give up another crucial win. If LGD takes this unlikely one, they're all the way to Worlds. I mean, that is going to be the story of the year, if that happens.
The underdogs of the year, I mean, the bets alone that I have that OMG would win this, that LGD would make it out. I think if LGD wins this, I have to marry someone. I mean, it was that unlikely.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And we'll have to see if they're able to do it. This is going to be an incredible comeback story if LGD manages to come all the way from, what, they were 5th, 6th place most of the split, and they're going to go to Worlds after one more game. I would have said you're crazy. I mean, that's insane. Amazing play from them, and amazing decision-making, especially.
That said, OMG is the team that's known for adaptability. Something didn't work. Let's look at the board, re-scratch, draw something else up. Again, it's about their versatility, about their champion pools. They have so many different options, so can't get them out quite just yet.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if they're able to come back into this one, guys. We'll be taking a quick commercial break while the interviews are going on, but it is game, set, and match for OMG. Can they rise? Can they come back? Or will they evaporate into thin air and leave LGD the remaining Worlds team for China? We'll find out after this. The rulebook to find out that they were just barely ahead of World Elite.
Definitely right there. But going into this game, let's just talk, we talked about how StarHorn Royal Club and OMG kind of fit together and where their strengths lie. LGD now. Possibly the strongest point of LGD is going to be their star mid laner Wayless, as well as their captain and support PYL. In fact, Wayless actually chose to be on LGD due to the ability and the respect that he has for PYL's ability to captain the team. They find success when they're able to utilize PYL early in the team, particularly with roams. The roam meta was very giving to LG. They've kind of teetered off a little bit as the meta shifted more toward traditional lanes, but this is where Wayless actually particularly shines.
Yeah, and I think that he's going to have to step up pretty big if his team wants any kind of chance against OMG. These guys are legendary in their performance. Maybe not as recently, StarHorn clearly looking like the better team and all that, but that's not to take away from what they were able to accomplish. Game number one, incredibly close back and forth affair, and if that's the OMG that shows up to this match, LGD is going to be in a bit of trouble.
Definitely, they don't have the best record against OMG.
为大家做这局比赛的解说。那不论可知，身边的小仓，你支持的战队，我需要问你吗？应该不需要。小仓的倾向是大家很知道的。
哎呀，不要开玩笑了，其实。这两个战队的话，客观来说还是 OMG 的胜率会大一些，但是老干爹他们肯定是准备了战术的，而且他们自己也表示，相对于皇族来说，可能更加愿意打 OMG。
对的，因为刚好上一个那个现场活动签名的环节，我刚好跟老干爹在一起，然后我就问了他们，因为那时候皇。
All right, guys, welcome back. We've been on a little bit of a break, but we will be getting pretty soon into our second set of the night. LGD taking on OMG for who will get that final coveted spot for Worlds.
And of course, we haven't seen a lot of LGD because they haven't found a lot of success throughout the playoffs and the season in general. Kind of a mid-tier team, just barely squeaked it by to qualify for playoffs, which allowed them to qualify for the regionals tournament here. And other than their victories yesterday against IEG, have kind of been floundering.
Yeah, they have really not come up much, and they barely made the playoffs. It was just off the back of what a lot of people would call a technicality, going back, dusting off.
The Twisted Fate is a little bit curious. I'm wondering if that's going to play into what LGD is going to show as far as strategy as more of these picks come out. Cool was known for his Twisted Fate. It was almost Messiah level, came out very hot and heavy with that, but it hasn't really been big for him. He hasn't returned to it too much, and to see that taken away, kind of curious where they're going to go from here.
Yeah, from that point on, I think since they gave up the Lucian choice, XQ might be favoring this instead. Now he has kind of stepped up a lot for LGD as they've needed him to, with the few roster changes that they did make in their offseason as well. So now, Chuan has had mixed success in this particular event on not Lee Sin, but historically it was not the case. So they're going to give him another chance. He locks in the Spider.
Well, Elise is definitely one of his comfort champions. Chuan probably the weakest point of LGD due to his champion pool size. It was really Lee Sin, Lee Sin, and Lee Sin, although that has expanded to Elise, to a little bit of Jarvan. So it's not Lee Sin, but it is a good take for him.
Yeah, from this particular position, I think it's right off the bat, of course, Yasuo Aurelia taken away, and the Maokai choice has been kind of consistent staple of OMG's bans just in general.
The thing about Maokai, yes, he's strong globally, but why he's strong for Chinese teams is that they love to fight and they love champions that enable them to pick those fights. And of course, if you talk about Twisted Advance, Maokai's W there, it's the perfect champion. Tower dive for days, fight for days, anytime you want, has to be taken away.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a must-do kind of situation here. Now, Twisted Fate banned out as well. Curious choice against Cool. Also the Orianna and the Cows open, so that's immediately picked up. 17 locking that in, probably for PYL.
Yeah, likely it's going to be seen as a support position instead of in that top lane, although 17 could pull it off. It is a flex pick, and speaking of flex pick, wow, speaking of flex
Speaking of spaghetti pants?
Spaghetti, Rise, locked in for going, or Cool.
Yeah, it is definitely a flexible choice. I think they don't want to reveal too much of the strat. A lot of bans expended against Cool, and that leaves a lot of other key positions open. San favoring that Lucian right now.
OMG, and it's really about, I feel like it's about Wayless taking off. The issue though is that he's across from Cool. So in that 1v1 matchup, yeah, Cool hasn't been, you know, super hot tonight, but that's still a mid laner that you have to respect. And these both these mid laners actually have pretty unique and diverse champion pools.
Yeah, although there is, of course, a very big differential in the way that they call their moves. OMG's coming from the jungle, coming from the top lane, whereas that is quite the opposite case in LGD's case, that PYL has been the rock of this team for a long, long, long time, and they'll be looking to him to make the rotations. These are probably the two smartest teams historically in the LPL, really.
Oh wow, look at Son.
He is not having a good day.
OMG, yeah, coming off a loss like that, being so close to Worlds and just have it just pulled out of your reach, whereas LGD, they are known to be also a very tilty team, actually coming off of a win, so we'll see if they're able to carry that momentum through bans.
Maybe they can do it here, banning